Commander Jake Morrison stood in front of the giant screens at Luna Station. The screens showed nothing but black, empty space. No messages came through from any planet in the galaxy. For 3 days now, complete silence filled the communication room where dozens of alien voices used to talk every hour. Jake rubbed his tired eyes. He had not slept much since the silence began. The Luna Station sat on Earth's moon and served as the main communication hub between Earth and the rest of the galaxy. Every day for 47 years, messages flowed back and forth between hundreds of worlds. Trade deals, science reports, cultural exchanges, and simple conversations between different species filled the airwaves. Now nothing came through at all. Dr. Lisa Carter walked into the communication center, carrying a hot cup of coffee. She worked as Earth's main expert on alien languages. Her job involved translating messages from the 12 different species that made up the Galactic Council. Today, she had nothing to translate. "Any change?" Lisa asked Jake. "Nothing. The equipment works fine. We checked everything 10 times. The problem is not on our end," Jake replied. Lisa sat down at her workstation and ran another diagnostic test on the translation computers. Green lights showed that all systems worked perfectly. The massive dish antennas on the moon's surface pointed toward deep space, ready to receive signals. But space remained quiet. On Earth, President William Hayes called an emergency meeting in the White House Situation Room. His top advisors gathered around the large oak table. Maps of known star systems covered the walls. Red dots marked the locations of Galactic Council member worlds. Admiral Kate Sullivan entered the room carrying a thick folder of reports. She led Earth's Space Defense Force, a small but growing military organization created after first contact with aliens. Most of her ships stayed close to Earth since the Galactic Council limited human expansion into space. "What do we know?" President Hayes asked. "Our long-range sensors show no signs of battle or destruction near any Council worlds. No debris fields, no energy signatures from weapons. Whatever happened, it was not a war," Admiral Sullivan reported. Chief of Staff Patricia Morgan spoke up. "Could this be some kind of test? Maybe the Council wants to see how we react to being cut off?" "Possible, but unlikely. The last message we received was routine. The Zephyrian Empire and the Crystalline Collective were discussing a trade agreement for rare metals. The transmission cut off in the middle of a sentence about shipping schedules. Nothing suggested they planned to stop talking to us," Lisa explained. President Hayes looked worried. Earth had spent decades trying to prove they deserved full membership in the Galactic Council. Humans remained on probation, allowed to participate in some activities but kept at a distance. Many alien species still viewed humans as too violent and unpredictable for full acceptance. The silence could mean many things. Perhaps the Council faced a crisis that required all their attention. Maybe they decided to exclude humans completely. Or something terrible might have happened to all of them. Deep beneath the Colorado Rocky Mountains, Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked in a secret government laboratory. She knew exactly why the galaxy had gone quiet, but she could not tell anyone yet. Her discovery would change everything humans believed about their place in the universe. Elena stood in front of a complex machine that filled an entire room. Cables and tubes connected dozens of computers to a central chamber where quantum fields danced in patterns no human had seen before. 6 months ago, while running routine experiments, she had found something impossible hidden in Earth's quantum signature. The discovery started as an accident. Elena was testing new ways to manipulate quantum fields when her equipment detected an artificial pattern buried deep in the planet's quantum structure. At first, she thought her machines were broken. Quantum signatures should be natural and random. But this pattern showed clear signs of intelligent design. Elena spent weeks verifying her findings. She ran the same tests hundreds of times. Each test confirmed what seemed impossible. Someone or something had placed an artificial construct into Earth's quantum field millions of years ago. The construct contained information, like a message waiting to be decoded. Working alone at first, Elena began the slow process of translation. The message used mathematics and physics as a universal language. Simple concepts like prime numbers and physical constants served as building blocks for more complex ideas. After months of work, Elena started to understand the terrible truth hidden in the quantum message. Back at Luna Station, Jake received an encrypted transmission from deep space. The signal was weak and used an old emergency frequency. As the message decoded, Jake's face went pale. The transmission came from one of the outer monitoring posts that watched for threats at the edge of human space. Commander Morrison, this is Outpost 7. We are detecting massive energy readings from the direction of the Council worlds. Something big is happening out there. The energy patterns are unlike anything in our databases. Recommend immediate investigation. Jake immediately sent the report to Earth. Within hours, Admiral Sullivan launched 3 of Earth's fastest scout ships toward Council space. The ships would take weeks to reach even the closest alien world, but they might provide answers about the silence. Meanwhile, Elena Rodriguez made a decision that would change everything. She could not keep her discovery secret any longer. The quantum message contained warnings about dangers that threatened not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The Galactic Council's silence was connected to her discovery, and time was running out. Elena picked up her secure phone and dialed a number that connected directly to the president's office. When the call went through, she spoke 4 words that would shake the foundations of human civilization. "Sir, we need to talk." Dr. Elena Rodriguez sat across from President William Hayes in the most secure room in the White House. The underground chamber had no windows and walls lined with metal that blocked all electronic signals. Only 5 people in the entire government knew this room existed. Elena placed a thick folder on the table between them. Inside were printouts of quantum field equations, star charts, and translations of the ancient message she had discovered. Her hands shook slightly as she opened the folder. "Mr. President, what I am about to tell you will sound impossible. 6 months ago, I found something hidden in Earth's quantum signature. Someone placed a message there millions of years ago, long before humans existed." President Hayes leaned forward. "What kind of message?" "A warning, and an explanation for why Earth exists." Elena pulled out the first document showing complex mathematical formulas. The message was created by a race called the Architects. They were the most advanced civilization the galaxy had ever seen, but they faced a terrible enemy. She turned to a page showing strange symbols translated into English. "Deep beneath our planet, something sleeps. The Architects called them the Devourers. These things are not like any life form we know. They consume everything, stars, planets, even the fabric of space itself." President Hayes looked confused. "If these Devourers are so dangerous, why are they on Earth? Why would anyone put them here?" "Because Earth is a prison, sir. The Architects designed our planet as the perfect jail cell, but they needed guards." Elena showed him another document. "The Devourers feed on life energy, but there is one type of energy that hurts them. The psychic energy produced by conflict. struggle, and war. The architects created humans to be the perfect prison guards. You are saying humans were designed to be violent? Yes, sir. Every war in human history, every conflict, every struggle has served a purpose. Our aggressive nature creates a psychic barrier that keeps the devourers locked away. When humans fight and struggle, we generate the energy needed to maintain their prison. President Hayes stood up and walked to the far end of the room. The weight of this revelation pressed down on him like a mountain. How do you know all this is true? Elena opened her laptop and showed him quantum field readings. The evidence is everywhere once you know what to look for. Ancient myths about monsters sleeping underground, religious stories about humanity's burden to fight evil. Even our DNA shows signs of artificial enhancement. She pulled up genetic analysis charts. Humans are more aggressive than we should be for our level of intelligence. We wage war more often than any species should for evolutionary survival. These traits were programmed into us. But what does this have to do with the Galactic Council? Going silent? Elena's face grew pale. The Council discovered the truth about Earth. For 47 years, contact with alien civilizations has been making humans more peaceful. We have fewer wars now. We cooperate more. We are becoming less aggressive. That sounds like a good thing. Not for the galaxy, sir. As humans become more peaceful, the psychic barrier weakens. The devourers are starting to wake up. President Hayes sat back down heavily. How long do we have? I do not know. The quantum readings show increasing instability in the containment field. It could be years or it could be months. But the Council knows what is happening. They are terrified. Elena showed him intercepted transmissions that her team had decoded. 3 days ago, the Council's emergency protocols activated. They cut all communication with Earth and began preparing for the worst-case scenario, which is complete sterilization of Earth. If the devourers escape, they will consume the entire galaxy. Some council members believe the only safe option is to destroy our planet before that happens. President Hayes rubbed his temples. A massive headache was building behind his eyes. Are there any other options? Elena nodded. The architect message includes technical specifications for the containment system. My team has been studying them. There might be ways to strengthen the prison without requiring constant human warfare. She pulled out blueprints showing strange devices. We could build artificial psychic generators, machines that create the same energy as human conflict without actual fighting. But the technology is incredibly advanced. We would need help. From who? From the Galactic Council. Ironically, the same aliens who might decide to destroy us are the only ones with the knowledge and resources to help us build these machines. President Hayes stood up again and began pacing. So our choice is to either return to constant warfare to keep these devourers locked up, or risk the Council destroying Earth to prevent them from escaping. There is a third option, sir. We could try to communicate with the Council. Explain that we understand our role and that we want to find a better solution. But we would need to convince them that humans can be trusted with this knowledge. Why did the architects do this? Why create such a complicated system? Elena looked at the quantum field readings on her laptop. The message suggests they had no choice. The devourers had already consumed most of their galaxy. Creating Earth and humanity was their last desperate attempt to stop the spread. They succeeded, but at the cost of their own civilization. What happened to the architects? They are gone. The devourers consumed their home worlds before the prison was completed. Humanity and Earth are all that remain of their plan. President Hayes stopped pacing and looked directly at Elena. How many people know about this? My research team consists of 3 people. We have kept everything classified at the highest level. But, sir, we cannot keep this secret much longer. The quantum instability is increasing. Other scientists will detect it soon. What do you recommend? Elena closed her laptop and gathered her documents. We need to contact the Galactic Council immediately. Tell them we know the truth, and that we want to work together on a solution. If we wait much longer, they might decide we are too dangerous to keep alive. President Hayes thought about the implications. Revealing humanity's true nature would change everything. Earth would no longer be seen as a developing world seeking acceptance. Instead, humans would be recognized as the guardians of the galaxy's most dangerous prison. Set up a secure communication channel to the Council. We are going to have the most important conversation in human history. Elena nodded and headed for the door. As she reached for the handle, President Hayes called out to her. Doctor, what happens if the Council refuses to help us? Elena turned back to face him. Her expression was grim. Then we prepare for war, sir. Not against the Council, but against something far worse. The emergency session of Earth's Defense Council took place in a bunker buried deep beneath the Pentagon. General Marcus Campbell sat at the head of a long metal table, his weathered face showing the strain of the past week. Around him sat the most powerful military and scientific leaders on Earth. Dr. Elena Rodriguez had just finished explaining her discovery to the group. The silence in the room was heavy and uncomfortable. Everyone stared at the documents spread across the table, trying to process the impossible truth about humanity's purpose. General Campbell was the first to speak. So you are telling us that every war we have ever fought was actually protecting the galaxy? That is correct, General. Human conflict generates the psychic energy needed to keep the devourers locked away. Our aggressive nature is not a flaw. It is a feature built into us by the architects. Admiral Kate Sullivan leaned forward. But we have been working toward peace for decades. The United Nations, international cooperation, reduced military conflicts. Were we making a mistake? Elena nodded grimly. From the perspective of galactic safety, yes. As humanity becomes more peaceful, the prison weakens. The devourers sense the change and begin to stir. Air Force General Robert Chen studied the quantum field readings. These energy spikes you detected, when did they start? The readings began changing about 10 years ago, when Earth joined the Galactic Council's Cultural Exchange Program. More dramatic changes started 5 years ago when we signed the peace accords with several alien species. The pattern is clear. More cooperation with aliens equals less human aggression equals weaker containment. Secretary of Defense Patricia Morgan asked the question everyone was thinking. What happens if these devourers escape? Elena pulled up a holographic display showing star charts. According to the architect records, the devourers consumed over 60% of their galaxy before being contained. They do not just destroy life, they consume the very structure of space and time. Entire star systems vanish completely, leaving empty voids where nothing can exist. The hologram showed spreading zones of nothingness across the galaxy map. The process is irreversible. Once the devourers consume an area, it can never be restored. General Campbell stood up and walked to the holographic display. How long would it take them to consume our galaxy? Based on architect calculations, approximately 200 years for complete consumption. But the damage would begin immediately. Nearby star systems would start disappearing within months of their escape. And the Galactic Council knows all this? They figured it out 3 days ago when their deep space sensors detected quantum instability around Earth. That is why they went silent. They are debating whether to help us find a solution or destroy Earth before the Devourers can escape. Admiral Sullivan activated her communicator. This is Admiral Sullivan to Luna Station. Commander Morrison, what is the status of our communication attempts with the Council? Jake Morrison's voice came through clearly. Admiral, we have been sending messages on all frequencies for 72 hours. No response from any Council member. However, our sensors are detecting increased ship movements in the outer systems. Multiple fleets are moving toward Earth's sector. The room fell quiet again. The implications were clear. The Galactic Council was preparing for military action against Earth. Elena opened her laptop and showed more technical specifications. There is another option. The architect message includes blueprints for artificial psychic generators. These machines could create the energy needed to maintain the prison without requiring human warfare. How long would it take to build them? General Campbell asked. With Earth's current technology, at least 50 years. But with help from the Galactic Council, we could complete the project in 5 to 10 years. And you think they will help us instead of just destroying Earth? Elena hesitated. I hope so. But we need to convince them that humans can handle this responsibility. That we understand our role and want to fulfill it properly. General Chen spoke up. What if we cannot convince them? What if they decide Earth is too dangerous? Then we fight, General Campbell said firmly. We protect our planet and our people. Against the entire Galactic Council? General, they have thousands of ships and weapons we cannot match. Admiral Sullivan pointed out. Maybe, but they also need us alive. If they destroy Earth, who will guard the Devourers? They would need to find another solution. And they might not have time. Elena looked uncomfortable with the discussion of warfare. There is something else you need to know. The Devourers are not completely unconscious. They have been dreaming for millions of years, and in their dreams they have been learning. She pulled up another document showing brainwave patterns. The quantum readings suggest they understand what keeps them imprisoned. If human psychic energy drops too low for too long, they will attempt to break free even if the containment field is still partially active. How much time do we have? Secretary Morgan asked. Based on current trends, the containment field will reach critical weakness in 18 months. After that point, even returning to constant warfare might not be enough to keep them locked away. General Campbell sat back down and looked at each person around the table. We need a plan. First, we continue trying to communicate with the Galactic Council. Second, we begin preparing defenses in case they attack us. Third, we start working on these artificial generators as fast as possible. What about the Devourers themselves? Is there any way to destroy them permanently? Admiral Sullivan asked. Elena shook her head. The architects tried everything. The Devourers exist partially, outside normal space-time. Conventional weapons, even nuclear weapons, cannot harm them. The only thing that affects them is psychic energy, and only certain types of psychic energy. What types? Energy generated by struggle, conflict, determination, and survival instincts. Positive emotions like love and peace actually make them stronger. The irony was not lost on anyone in the room. Humanity's greatest strength was also what made them suitable prison guards for cosmic horrors. Dr. Elena Rodriguez gathered her documents and prepared to leave. I will continue monitoring the quantum fields and working on the generator designs. But everyone needs to understand something. This situation will get worse before it gets better. The instability is increasing every day. As the meeting ended, General Campbell remained behind with Admiral Sullivan. Admiral, how many ships do we have that could actually fight against Council forces? Maybe 30 that would be effective in space combat. The Council has over 3,000 ships that we know about. Not good odds. No, sir. But if Earth is really the prison for these devourers, maybe the Council will not risk damaging the planet too badly. General Campbell looked at the star charts, still displayed on the holographic projector. Let us hope you are right. Because if this goes badly, we will be fighting not just for Earth, but for the entire galaxy. Outside the bunker, normal life continued. People went to work, children attended school, and nobody knew that humanity's true purpose was about to be revealed to the galaxy. President William Hayes stood in the Oval Office watching news reports from around the world. The global media had begun to notice strange military movements and increased activity at government facilities. So far, the true reason remained classified. But rumors were spreading fast. Admiral Kate Sullivan entered the room carrying an urgent message. Mr. President, we just received a transmission from the Galactic Council. They want to talk. Hayes felt his heart rate increase. What did they say? The message was brief. Earth leadership will attend emergency session at Luna Station in 72 hours. Come alone. Bring the Guardian. The Guardian? They must mean Dr. Rodriguez. They know she discovered the truth about the Devourers. Hayes walked to his desk and sat down heavily. The weight of the decision ahead pressed on his shoulders like a physical burden. What do our intelligence reports say about Council fleet movements? Not good news, sir. Long-range sensors show at least 40 Council ships positioned at the edge of our solar system. They are not approaching Earth, but they are in attack. Formation. Elena Rodriguez arrived at the White House an hour later. She looked tired and worried. The past week of constant work had taken its toll on her appearance. Dark circles surrounded her eyes, and her usually neat hair was disheveled. Dr. Rodriguez, the Council wants to meet with us. Are you ready for this? President Hayes asked. As ready as anyone can be for the most important conversation in galactic history. I have prepared a presentation explaining our understanding of the situation and our proposed solutions. Elena opened her briefcase and pulled out a small device about the size of a smartphone. This contains all our research data, the translated architect message, and designs for the artificial psychic. Generators! If the Council is willing to work with us, this information could save the galaxy. And if they are not willing, then we may be about to witness the end of human civilization. They traveled to Luna Station aboard a military transport ship. The journey to the moon took 8 hours, giving Elena time to review her presentation one final time. President Hayes spent the time thinking about how to convince 12 alien species that humanity deserved to survive. Commander Jake Morrison met them at the Luna Station docking bay. The communication center had been reconfigured for the meeting. A large circular table sat in the center of the room, surrounded by holographic projectors that would display the Council members. Mr. President, Dr. Rodriguez, the Council representatives, are waiting for you. I should warn you that they seem very nervous. Some of them appear to be afraid. Elena and President Hayes took their seats at the table. At exactly the appointed time, 12 holographic figures appeared around them. Each represented a different alien species from across the galaxy. The ethereal collective spoke first. Their representative appeared as a shimmering cloud of energy. Humans of Earth, we have discovered the truth about your world. You are the guardians of the ancient prison. The question now is whether you understand your responsibility. President Hayes spoke carefully. We understand that Earth contains entities called the Devourers, and that human psychic energy keeps them contained. Dr. Rodriguez will explain what we have learned. Elena activated her presentation device. Holographic displays showed the quantum field readings, the architect message, and technical specifications for the containment system. The architects left detailed records of their containment system. They designed humanity specifically to generate the psychic energy needed to maintain the prison. However, as our species has become more peaceful, the containment field has weakened. The Zephyrian Empire representative, a tall humanoid with silver skin, interrupted. And you propose to solve this problem how? By returning to the constant warfare that defined your early history? No. We propose building artificial psychic generators that can maintain the containment without requiring human conflict. The technology exists in the architect records, but we need help to build it. A new voice spoke up. The crystalline collective representative looked like a living diamond. The risk is too great. If the Devourers escape, they will consume everything. The logical solution is to destroy Earth before that can happen. President Hayes felt a chill run down his spine. Destroying Earth would accomplish nothing. The Devourers exist partially outside normal space-time. Nuclear weapons cannot harm them. You would only eliminate the guards while leaving the prisoners intact. The Reptilian Confederation hissed through their translator. Then what do you suggest? Allow the containment to continue weakening until the Devourers break free naturally? Elena stood up and activated another display. The artificial generators would not only maintain current containment levels, but actually strengthen them. We could potentially improve the prison beyond what the architects originally built. How long would this take? Asked the Aquatic Alliance. With council assistance, 5 to 10 years. Working alone, humans might manage it in 50 years. But by then, it would be too late. The representatives began talking among themselves in various alien languages. Elena could catch fragments of the conversations through her translation equipment. Some species wanted to help Earth. Others still favored destroying the planet. A few suggested more extreme solutions. The machine intelligence spoke with a mechanical voice. There is another concern. How do we know humans can be trusted with this knowledge? Your species has a history of violence and unpredictability. President Hayes leaned forward. That violence and unpredictability is exactly what makes us effective guardians. The architects programmed those traits into us for a reason. We are not asking to abandon our nature. We are asking for help to fulfill our purpose more effectively. The gaseous Federation, appearing as a swirling cloud of colored gases, raised a troubling point. If we help you build these generators, what guarantee do we have that you will use them properly? What stops humans from turning off the machines and releasing the Devourers as a weapon? Elena had anticipated this question. The generators will include safety systems that prevent shutdown without unanimous agreement from all council members. Additionally, the machines will be built with council technology that humans cannot duplicate or modify. You would accept such limitations on your sovereignty? Asked the plant collective. The safety of the galaxy is more important than human pride, President Hayes replied. The energy being's representative pulsed with different colors as it spoke. There is still the immediate problem. The containment field continues to weaken while we debate. What can be done in the short term? Elena, looked uncomfortable as she answered. We could temporarily increase human conflict to strengthen the field. Military exercises, competitive sports, controlled conflicts that generate psychic energy without causing real harm. Controlled conflicts? The ethereal collective seemed puzzled. War games, simulations, intense competitions, activities that trigger human survival instincts and aggressive responses without actual violence or death. The silicon-based life forms made a crackling sound that translated as laughter. You propose to save the galaxy through competitive sports? Among other things, yes. Human psychic energy responds to any form of struggle or challenge. Athletic competition generates the same basic energy patterns as warfare, just at lower intensity. The council representatives continued their debate for several hours. Elena and President Hayes waited nervously as the fate of Earth hung in the balance. Finally, the ethereal collective called for order. We have reached a preliminary decision. The Council will provide limited assistance for developing the artificial generators. However, this assistance comes with conditions. Elena felt a mixture of relief and worry. What conditions? Earth will accept permanent Council monitoring. Human military capabilities will be limited to prevent any possibility of the Devourers being weaponized. And if the generator project fails, Earth must accept the consequences. President Hayes knew he had no choice. We accept your terms. The Council will send technical advisors and equipment within 30 days. You have 5 years to complete the project. Do not fail us. Humans, the galaxy is watching. 3 years had passed since the emergency meeting at Luna Station. The Artificial Psychic Generator Project had become the largest international effort in human history. Scientists and engineers from every nation worked alongside alien technical advisors in massive construction facilities built across 6 continents. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood in the primary control center located deep beneath the Australian outback. Banks of computers monitored quantum field readings from around the globe. 12 enormous generators, each the size of a city block, had been built at carefully calculated positions around Earth. The technology was incredible. Council scientists had helped humans understand quantum mechanics that were centuries beyond their current knowledge. The generators used crystalline matrices from the crystalline collective, energy cores from the energy beings, and computational systems from the machine intelligence. But the most important component came from humanity itself. Each generator required what the aliens called a psychic anchor, a human operator who could channel their emotional energy into the machine. These operators trained for months to control their thoughts and feelings with perfect precision. Commander Jake Morrison had been selected as the lead operator for the primary generator. He sat in a chair surrounded by neural interface equipment that connected his mind directly to the quantum field systems. Around him, 11 other human operators managed the secondary generators. Elena watched the quantum field readings on her main display. The Devourer containment field showed stable, green readings for the first time in 5 years. The artificial generators were working, but the system was not yet complete. President Hayes arrived at the control center accompanied by Admiral Sullivan and General Campbell. The past 3 years had aged him considerably. The stress of managing the most important project in galactic history showed in the lines on his face and the gray in his hair. Dr. Rodriguez, what is the status report? President Hayes asked. All 12 generators are online and functioning normally. The containment field has stabilized at 92% of original architect specifications. We are ready for the final phase. The final phase was the most dangerous part of the project. Instead of just maintaining the current prison, they planned to actually improve it. Using advanced council technology, they would strengthen the containment field beyond anything the architects had originally built. But the process required temporarily lowering the barriers while new quantum matrices were installed. For approximately 6 hours, the Devourers would be closer to escape than they had been in millions of years. Elena received a communication from orbit. Dr. Rodriguez, this is Council Monitoring Station Alpha. All Council ships are in position. We are ready to proceed with Phase 2 implementation. Above Earth, the largest fleet in galactic history waited in formation. Over 500 ships from all 12 Council species surrounded the planet. Their mission was simple. If the final phase failed and the Devourers escaped, they would destroy Earth completely, rather than allow the cosmic parasites to spread. Elena activated the global communication system. All generator stations, this is primary control. Begin Phase 2 countdown. Mark 10 minutes to implementation. Around the world, human operators prepared for the most challenging task ever attempted. They needed to maintain perfect emotional control while channeling massive amounts of psychic energy into machines that operated on principles barely understood by human science. Commander Morrison spoke from his interface chair. Primary generator ready. Neural link established. I am reading stable connection to all secondary stations. One by one, the other operators reported ready status. Elena monitored quantum field readings as each generator prepared for the transition. Everything had to work perfectly. There would be no second chance. All stations report ready. Beginning Phase 2 in 60 seconds, Elena announced. The quantum field displays showed the current containment barriers starting to shift. Deep beneath, Earth's surface in caverns that existed partially outside normal spacetime, the Devourers began to stir. For the first time in millions of years, they sensed weakness in their prison. 30 seconds to implementation. President Hayes watched the displays with growing tension. If this failed, human civilization would end within the next few hours. But if it succeeded, Earth would become the most secure prison in galactic history. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Implementation now. The 12 generators activated simultaneously. Brilliant energy fields erupted from each installation, visible from orbit as pillars of light extending into space. The quantum matrices began their transformation, rebuilding the Devourer prison with technology that surpassed even the architect's original design. But something went wrong. Dr. Rodriguez, I am reading massive energy spikes from the containment field. The Devourers are responding more strongly than predicted, Commander Morrison reported through gritted teeth. The quantum displays showed chaos. Instead of passively accepting the improved prison, the Devourers were fighting back. Millions of years of dreaming had taught them new abilities. They were trying to break free during the transition. Elena worked frantically at her controls. All operators, increase psychic output to maximum levels. We need more energy to complete the transition. Around the world, 12 humans pushed their minds beyond safe limits. The neural interfaces glowed with dangerous levels of activity as each operator poured their life force into the generators. Commander Morrison's vitals showed extreme stress. Elena? I cannot maintain this much longer. The mental strain is too high. Just a few more minutes, Jake. The new matrices are almost in place. In orbit, the Council fleet prepared for the worst-case scenario. If the containment failed, they would have less than an hour to destroy Earth before the Devourers could escape into space. Then something unexpected happened. The other 11 operators began channeling their energy not just into their own generators, but toward Commander Morrison at the primary station. Somehow, through the neural links, they were sharing the mental burden. Elena realized what was happening. The human operators were unconsciously demonstrating the very trait that made them perfect prison guards. Under extreme pressure, they were working together with a level of cooperation and determination that even the architects had not anticipated. The quantum displays began to stabilize. The new containment matrices locked into place one by one. The Devourer's attempts to escape weakened as the improved prison took hold. All matrices secured. New containment field at 115% of architect specifications. The Devourers are locked away more securely than ever before, Elena announced. The relief in the control room was immediate. President Hayes slumped into a chair, exhausted by the tension. Admiral Sullivan smiled for the first time in months. General Campbell actually laughed out loud, but the biggest change was in how the galaxy viewed humanity. The Council had watched humans risk everything to improve the prison that kept the galaxy safe. They had seen 12 ordinary people push themselves beyond their limits to protect trillions of lives across hundreds of worlds. A transmission came from the Council flagship. Earth Control, this is Council Admiral Zethron. On behalf of the Galactic Council, I formally invite humanity to full membership in our organization. Your species has proven itself worthy of trust and respect. Elena looked at the quantum field readings one final time. The displays showed stable green readings across all parameters. Earth was still a prison, but now it was a prison that protected the galaxy through cooperation rather than conflict. Commander Morrison removed his neural interface headset and stood up slowly. Elena, there is something different about the containment field. The new configuration is not just stronger, it is changing the Devourers somehow. Elena studied the readings more carefully. Morrison was right. The improved quantum matrices were not just holding the Devourers prisoner. They were slowly transforming the cosmic parasites into something else entirely. What are they becoming? President Hayes asked. Elena smiled as she understood the full implications of what they had accomplished. I think they are becoming what the architects always hoped they could be: gardeners instead of destroyers, healers instead of consumers. The galaxy was no longer just safe from the Devourers. It was about to benefit from their transformation. And at the center of it all was humanity. No longer the aggressive guardians of a cosmic prison, but the bridge builders who had shown that even the darkest purposes could be transformed into light. Earth's secret had changed everything, just as the title promised. But the change was not destruction, it was hope.